MixbusTv exclusive worldwide premiere, the very first video review of the new Drawmer 1970 dual mic preamp and fat compressor. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day. Before we start, check the info box down below for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy and special discounts and offers on plugins. Also the link to the unit that we are going to review today, the Drawmer 1970. If our videos are helping you, you want to support the channel, but most important, access to exclusive content like members only posts, videos, live chats, Pro Tools sessions and file to download, and also mix consultation via Skype and email, click the join button down here and see all the perks of becoming a MixbusTv member. To test and review this unit, I asked help to three friends, two great singers, Kia, you saw her before in my videos, Jay, and Alfie, our bass player. Let's take a look at what's on the front panel of this unit. So we have a stereo dual mono high quality mic preamplifier and fat compressor. From left to right, we have first a direct instrument input quarter-inch jack with the gain knob and a boost for passive instruments or low-level signals. Then we have a simple but sweet sounding EQ section for the instrument that you can turn on and off with this button here. And we have controls for bass and treble and a bright button. Next to the instrument section, we have the two mic preamplifier. Gain goes up to 66 dB. Then for both, we have the source selector. You can see the first one is microphone with 48 volts for condenser mic. Then we have the dynamic microphone section with three different impedance settings, 200, 600, and 2.4. Switching again, we go to the line input, which are on the back independent from the microphone input, XLR. To use the unit for mixing, for example, to use the compressor, either dual mono or stereo, and then the instrument input. Again, for both preamps, we have a reverse phase and an HPF, and then we have the compressor section. Two sets of controls if you want to use this in dual mono, threshold, ratio, attack, and release, and then three switches. The program dependent, the air switch that adds a little bit of sheen at the top, and the big, which is a loved function of all the old Drawmer compressors, is an HPF that removes from the internal sidechain the detector too much low end and let the compressor breathe a little better. Of course, you can link the two channels, and when you do it, the top row controls both channels, so you have perfect stereo matching. And then we have the output section with a mix knob for parallel compression on board, a bypass button, and a gain for your makeup gain or overall output level. Very well designed is the fact that you can link this section as well. So you can link the compressors and the output section independently. And again, when you link the output section, the left channel controls both. Then we have a plus 10 dB VU pad switch and the two bypass for both channels to bypass the compressor, or you can link it and you can see one controls both. So without further ado, let's see how this unit performs for tracking and mixing. All right, Drawmer 1970 test. We start by using the preamp only. We're not using the compressor. Kia on the microphone, which is an SM7, and the preamp has three different impedance settings. We start with my favorite for the SM7, which is 600, then we'll switch to 200 and then to 2.4 to hear the differences.
Deep in the night, where the street lights are burning, reflecting from the ground into my eyes, lost track of time, and no one could hear me, alone in the dark city of light.
All right, good. We switch to 200 and we hear the difference.
Deep in the night, where the street lights are burning, reflecting from the ground into my eyes, lost track of time, and no one could hear me, alone in the dark city of lights.
All right, good. Third pass, 2.4 impedance.
Deep in the night, where the street lights are burning, reflecting from the ground into my eyes, lost track of time, and no one could hear me, alone in the dark city of light.
All right, now we go back to 600 impedance for the mic pre, my favorite for the SM7, and we put the compressor in and see how it works during recording.
Deep in the night, where the street lights are burning, reflecting from the ground into my eyes, lost track of time, and no one could hear me, alone in the dark city of lights.
All right, as you can see, the track is already more solid, more dynamically controlled, and it sounds amazing. The fat compressor on the Drawmer gear in general is so musical. For this track, those were the settings that I just came up on the fly. You can see the setting for attack and release. We are about 2.5 ratio. Right now I have the program dependent engaged. I'm gonna take that out and see how it changes the behavior of the compressor during tracking. Let's go.
Deep in the night, where the street lights are burning, reflecting from the ground into my eyes, lost track of time, and no one could hear me, alone in the dark city of lights.
Without the program dependent, the compressor reacts a lot faster. It's a little more aggressive, which I actually like for this track, even if it's a mellow singing part. But the program dependent is also great because it helps you with wildly dynamic material. She is not really, she has a pretty steady flow of sound when she sings. So in this case, I prefer the non-program dependent. Drawmer 1970 has an absolutely amazing sound, especially the compressor is so warm and musical. Let's get Jay on the mic now. Kia, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Jay is on the microphone. We do the same thing. We do a first pass with just the mic preamp, no compression, and then we put the compressor in.
Take off your clothes, it's easy to see. There's no one else here but you and me. First we'll dance naked to the Rolling Stones. Party all night like Dee Dee Ramone. I don't need no safe word. I don't need no safe word. I don't need no safe word. Just give me your love. Give me your love. Give me your love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As you can see, Jay is a lot more dynamic than Kia, so the compressor in this case should help a lot. After a quick test, you can see the settings that I picked for Jay's vocal in this case on the fat compressor. Let's get to it.
Take off your clothes, it's easy to see. There's no one else here but you and me. First we'll dance naked to the Rolling Stones. Party all night like Dee Dee Ramone. I don't need no safe word. I don't need no safe word. I don't need no safe word. Just give me your love. Give me your love. Give me your love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As you heard and you can see from the waveform, the compressor gave us a much denser waveform, a much more controlled vocals, and it just sounds so warm and organic. So now we're going to test the instrument input. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
We're going to test the instrument input here on the front panel. You can see here from the image we have a gain knob, a boost button, and then an EQ section with bass and treble from 0 to 10 that we're going to test. Alfie here with me is kind enough to play a groove for us.
Yes.
What instrument are you playing?
Playing a Fender Jazz bass, American Deluxe 4 strings with Nordstrom pickups.
All right, the instrument is good, the player is good. Let's get to it. First pass, we are not gonna use the EQ and we are not gonna use the compressor. Then we do a second pass, I'm gonna play with the EQ. And last, we're gonna put the compressor in and see how it does in tracking. Let's get to it. So now I'm gonna play with the EQ a little bit. Still no compressor. Now with these settings, I maybe back off the EQ a little bit. We hear the compressor in action. Alfie, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, as you heard and as you can see from the waveform, we have a much denser track, a much more controlled bass. This compressor sounds so musical, like all the Fat Compressor by Drawmer. The input section is great with the EQ and the bright. The bright changes the sound a lot. I really love it. And how do you like it, Elfie?
I like it. It sounds clean, crisp, fat when it needs to be, and as far as I can hear, is like very manageable. You can get really creative.
All right, cool. Definitely good. The EQ section for the bass with the bass knob and the bright, it brings the instrument to life. All right, so this was the Drawmer 1970 tracking vocals and bass. Now we run some tracks through the stereo compressor and see how we can use it in mixing. Drawmer Fat Compressor. We start with drums. Let's try a loop. Let's try on a vocal.
All is erasable and there's nothing left here for you and I. Why do we even try? There's nothing left here. We lost our whole world in one night.
Listen to, I hate the word, but how warm it sounds on this vocal.
All is erasable and there's nothing left here for you and I. Why do we even try? There's nothing left here. We lost our whole world in one night.
Closing thoughts on the Drawmer 1970. Now, I had this unit for more than a month, so I had the chance to use it before this video and I loved it already. You know I love Drawmer gear. We have 4 pieces just on this desk, 2 more that you don't see. I've always loved Drawmer gear, but I think this is the first preamp that I have from them, and you heard it. With an SM7, it's so big and open and crisp, and the compressors are absolutely musical, great sounding. This is a characteristic that goes for all Drawmer compressors, really. I found this one particularly easy to set up, which is great for tracking. You don't want to fiddle around too much when you have the artist ready to go. It definitely has a grab. We heard it on drums when you go extreme settings. Another thing that I noticed for this compressor, it's great for parallel compression. You can go back to the video and see when I'm using it, how it sounds, which is kind of weird because I always use parallel compression in my mixes, but usually on a separate bus. And when I use a compressor, I never use the mix knob. With this one, I felt confident right away. I like very much what it gives me when I go to extreme settings and then I turn the mix knob, I back off the mix knob halfway, a little more halfway, you heard it. Some compressor, when you use the mix knob, it's a matter of volume compensation between the dry and the wet signal. This one reacts exactly how I would expect, so I really liked it for that. Again, I'm gonna repeat myself with the word musical and warm, but Drawmer gear is like that, and it's always priced surprisingly low for the quality and the sound and the character Drawmer pieces give you. This is a great unit for tracking everything. You have a dual mono stereo unit, so you can track any stereo source. I can see this one being a killer unit for overheads and synths. You can track vocal and bass at the same time, acoustic guitar, with the stereo or with a singer, piano, with the big and the air adding that lift at the top, which is not just to compensate for high amount of gain reduction, is also just an enhancement you can put literally on everything. Drawmer came out with another great unit. This is the world premiere. It's gonna be announced at NAMM January 16, 2020. Link to the unit is gonna be in the info box down below. I hope this video was useful. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.